and welcome to a gruesome twosome, a video where we take two of the same character and see which one did it better. Today on the chopping block, we have Combiner Wars Legion class Hotrod and Legacy/Kingdom Core class Hotrod. And today, we're gonna see which one's better. God, my background's really cluttered lately. Should probably do this chronologically, I guess. I've actually wanted to do this for a while now, but I don't know. I originally wanted to do this with Siege and Kingdom, not Kingdom, Siege and Earthrise Starscream, but for some reason I just never did it. The hell is that? Now this is Combiner Wars Hotrod's car mode, and I understand the grievances with this, because this just straight up ain't Hotrod's car mode. But to be fair, at the time, G1 accuracy was more of a suggestion rather than a requirement. We didn't start getting really accurate solid figures until, like, Siege. Not to mention how this is technically a repaint of, I want to say Blackjack? But either way, the repaint potential is amazing here because this spoiler gives insane Hot Roddy vibes. Not to mention the pew 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 at the top. The flames at the front are picked out beautifully with a nice yellow paint that will not chip. And also we have some nice silver paint for the headlights. Except for those ones. Up there. What the heck? And the paint for the windows are a very nice metallic speckly blue, which are very pretty to look at. And, oh, I chipped the paint there. Wish I noticed that before I finished writing this. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh no, this is a parts-forming weapons piece, but here's the thing. You don't really need it for the car mode. The car mode looks perfectly fine, if not better, without the giant spoiler cannon. Also, you can turn this guy into a chest plate for Menasor. Or the Optimus. I don't have either of those figures. I've lived a good life. There's also some absolutely beautiful sculpting on the back with some implied headlights, and maybe the heels could be exhaust. I don't know. There's a lot to the imagination here. Did the more you know thing play over that? I hope I don't forget. Now moving on to the... Look, technically this should be better in every way. It has all of the right... It's the right car mode. It has okay paint. It has the thrusters. It has... That's it. This wasn't meant to be a repaint. This was entirely new mold. They had all they could... They had everything they needed to make this a good figure. What the heck happened? This figure has 1 point over the original because it has the exhaust pipes, but they're painted like crap. The mushroom peg wheels are way more noticeable on this one. The flames look like crap. The flippin' headlights, they're not painted, so they don't look like headlights. They just look like coincidental sculpting. And they painted the windshields this ugly-ass shade of baby blue so bright that it looks white at most times. And the spoiler! This spoiler. It has everything it needs to be a good spoiler, just like the rest of the figure, but it fumbles at every turn. It's made in red plastic for some reason, and they put on such thick yellow paint that it makes all of the sculpting look soft. And it's hollow to crap! Not to mention all the sculpting on the back, which just it's pointless. Not only will it be covered up by the spoiler, and not only does this car look bad without the spoiler, but it also, the sculpting, it has no point. It has nowhere to draw your eye. It just looks meaningless. But I could forgive all of that if it just did one thing well, and that is hold together. Guess what? This figure, no matter how hard I try, cannot peg in for more than 2 seconds. It's like one of those like old Hot Wheels monsters with the mouth. That's actually a really good comparison. Not to mention how none of this looks like it connects to itself. There's so many gaps from the transformation that it just doesn't look good. He comes with a sword that has a hole there for some reason. You could peg it onto the top, or you could plug it into the spoiler. I don't fucking care. So when it comes to the alt mode, I feel like the winner is kind of obvious. So is the rest of the video. Clearly the Combiner Wars one did it better, which is surprising considering it was just a cash grab repaint. The Legacy/Kingdom team had everything going for them. They had a new mold, they could have done whatever they wanted, but instead they chose to do nothing and try and innovate on something that didn't need to be innovated. So clearly the Combiner Wars 1 has a better vehicle mode. Okay, robot modes. Come on, there we go. Like wrap these around. This transformation is dog crap. Oh my god. Oh my, that's so tight. Do I need to loosen that? Oh my god. I thought that was gonna break. Okay, before I even go into the robot modes, I need to talk about this Gremlin's transformation. This figure does not have the clearance nor the tolerances it needs to do the transformation that it's trying to do. I can see the potential, I understand the idea for what they're trying to do here, but it's a flipping core class figure. He's a pocket change toy. He's an impulse purchase. He's not going to need such insane engineering. Hotrod's transformation shouldn't be this difficult. They tried putting a new spin on a transformation that they don't need to put a new spin on because they already mastered it forever ago. The legs don't like to plug in to the back. The front of the car doesn't like to plug into the front. The arms don't like to plug into anything, and these shoulder struts are so unbelievably tight that I genuinely think I am going to break them every time I transform the damn thing. Guys, this is a core class figure. You should not have tolerances so tight that they can hold the weight of a commander class figure. This is ridiculous. This is insane. This is utter stupidity. Okay, time to talk about the obvious winner now. Combiner Wars Hotrod, as mentioned earlier, had a lot going against him. He was an easy cash grab repaint, and he didn't really look like Hotrod. But because this is such clever mold reusage, and because of the paint and also the new head sculpt, and also some of the Hotrodness pre-baked into the mold to begin with, this ended up turning out really well. Like, none of this should work, but it works surprisingly well. Technically, the shoulders aren't attached to the torso, they're just floating there. From a side profile, this figure looks hollower than my self-esteem in the 4th grade. And his weedy thighs go into these massive shins that literally cut off at a 90-degree angle. But when you're just looking at the figure normally in any stance, he just looks fine. How are you doing that? The robot mode reveals some nice yellow under-torso sculpting. Yeah, that's a sentence. It also reveals some lovely painted silver on the arms and a lovely little Autobot symbol. And also the gunmetal gray shins. I mean, kneecaps. Man, I'm stupid. The head sculpt is beautiful. It embodies Hot Rod so well. It's got the sauce, you know? It just looks like him. And that's even without the wings. When I was younger, I always thought that there had to be a way to attach the axe to the back of the torso. There isn't. But I'm not mad. Tell me, this entire video, did you even notice that his back crest was missing until I mentioned it? Did you notice that his chest isn't the front of the car like it normally is? No, because this figure it feels like Hot Rod. It embodies it like no other figure has in my collection. Some have come close. Primus knows the Studio Series one has tried, but none of them feel like Hot Rod like this does. We have a rotation at the head that if you cheat, you can get him to look up. It's actually not bad. Due to the transformation, you get a little bit of a butterfly joint. We have a ball joint at the shoulder, which pretty much gives you unlimited range. Bicep rotation, hinge at the elbow, ball joint at the hips, and ball joint at the knees. This figure has pretty spectacular posability for a Legends figure. Like, most of it's pretty basic, but it does include some small touches that just make the figure, mwah, just lovely. Now on the other hand, this figure, how does this figure look so much more hollow than this one? I went over how hollow this guy was earlier in the video, but he looked fine. This guy isn't as hollow, but he looks so much worse. The shoulders are connected with these tweedy little things that are gonna snap any day now, I can just tell. The torso is nearly two-dimensional, and Hot Rod really is an empty head, no thoughts kind of guy. Should I pour Gatorade in his head and drink it? No, that's stupid. While I mention that, I should probably talk about how you can take this off. I don't know why they did that. You could also plug it into this here on this part of the back. Why would you do that? Not to mention the proportions. He's got a big chest, little head, shoulders are super far apart. He has super small lower arms, super small upper legs, huge shins and feet that barely classify as feet. This figure disappoints me. This figure's head sculpt is so... it looks dead. The face is gray, but the eyes use that really bright blue paint that they use on the windshield in the car mode, and it looks like the eyes aren't painted, they look glazed over! He looks dead, or high, or both! He has a rotation at the head that is so tight for no reason. He has a hinge joint at the shoulder, a ball joint on the shoulder, a ball joint at the elbow, a ball joint at the hip, and a ball joint at the knee. This figure makes me mad. Technically, he has the same amount of articulation points as this guy over here, but all of his joints are so cluttered, or so tight, or so restricted, you can't do anything! This is the most dynamic pose I could get this little bastard in. This figure fills me with nothing but rage and contentment. I don't understand. Every other core class figure outside of Shockwave that I purchased is fantastic. What the hell went wrong? Not even his penis sword could save him now. Oh look, now it's bigger. That means it's better, right? No! I genuinely think this is the worst thing to ever come out of official Transformers ever. No figure, even the ones that disintegrate, have filled me with this much hatred before. This is the worst. It does not get worse than this. So thank God this guy exists. Stay away from this figure at all costs. I understand. This figure you can get pretty easily. This one's a little rarer now that it's a decade old. But you don't understand. There is no way in hell, under any circumstance, I would recommend you buy this for anyone. It is one of, if not the worst Transformers experience I've had in my entire life. That includes figures who broke immediately. I'm talking about Titans Return Weird Wolf. I'm talking about flipping G2 Colors, Combiner Wars, I want to say Air Raid? Or Sky? It was one of them. The gold guy. Every figure with gold plastic syndrome is excused in my eyes now. Nothing comes down. Nothing is as bad as this figure. Did I mention that this is my brother's? Sorry, Ed. The Combiner Wars Hotrod is fantastic. It is one of my favorite Legends figures, and yes, it's a little old, can be a little rickety in spots, but I cannot recommend this figure enough. I genuinely love it, and I don't know. It's real. I'm crying. This figure fills me with so much rage over here that this one looks even better in my eyes now. We have a clear winner. The robot mode, the transformation, the vehicle mode. It wasn't even a competition. Anyway, this is day 2 of the 12 days of Action Figure Christmas. I tried to upload the first one yesterday as well, but the upload got messed up. So I had to push it back to today. Man, nothing's going right for me lately. Bye!